Hi, and welcome back to another of our In Conversation With videos. I'm Catherine from the website Berkshire Therapist.
And I'm Fiona from One Jewellery and One Sanctuary.
And we're back to talk about self-care and look at another aspect of self-care, which will hopefully help you to manage your self-care and incorporate it into busy lives. Because what we do know from both of us, from our business backgrounds and personal backgrounds, is self-care is really hard sometimes to manage, but actually absolutely essential to keep us going. So we thought for this one, we would choose a word. And our word for this one is perseverance. And we've both got some lovely stories and some inspirational ideas regarding perseverance. And certainly, Fiona, you've got some really good tips on perseverance at the moment with the challenge that you're doing, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. So I'm going to be doing a triathlon it's like a week and a half now. So it's Sunday week. Um, so a lot of perseverance there. It's been tough. It's been all the training and trying to fit the
Mm,
training in around business, family
family,
life.
yeah.
It is tough, but I mean perseverance is if you don't persevere with something that you really want to do and that you're really passionate about, which I am about, triathlons, running, swimming, cycling, I would have given up. And that's not a great way to be taking
Mm,
care of myself. So I think it's really important that we talk about this. And you've got some examples of some famous people as well, haven't you? Just to give everybody an
yes.
idea of kind of where we're going with this. And
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, because there's a lot of, I think often when we get people in the media, we hear the end result.
Mhm.
And something that I often say to clients, and it's not I haven't created this quote, and it's something that if I'm honest, I'll put it in the description box because I can't actually remember who originally said it, but the sentiment always stays with me, and I share this a lot with clients. Is what we often do is we compare our behind the scenes to somebody else's finished product.
Yeah.
And we often see that in things like whether it's social media, or we hear things on the media in general, but it almost feels like they've just walked into this success, or they're just living their perfect life and having a brilliant time all of the time.
Yeah.
And when we think about that, or when we hear it, we're actually comparing it to what we know our life looks like behind the scenes, when it's just us and our loved ones or close friends. And we know that life isn't like that on a daily basis.
Mm.
So, for example, Fiona, you'll be out there a week on Sunday and you'll be looking like, you've just, mastered it and without any effort whatsoever.
Yeah.
But the literal blood, sweat and tears that's gone
Yeah.
into preparing for it. How was it right in the beginning when you first decided to do when you had this mad idea?
So I mean it was because I've been running now for about I think it's like 5 years. Yeah, it's 5 years this summer.
Mm,
I would have been running. So but the triathlon was something that I just wanted to challenge myself with, and it was the first time that I'd actually signed up to something that I
mm,
wasn't physically capable of doing at the time that I signed up to it.
mm,
So that was quite scary, but I do like a challenge. And my son is doing it with me as well. So it was lovely. It's been lovely having the support and a training partner as well,
mm.
to get through it. It really does help having that accountability.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just like I say, I when we signed up to it, I was not physically capable of doing it. I could swim, but
Mm.
not really properly. I was one of those breaststroke swimmers, just going along with her head above the water.
You said to keep your head out because that's how I do it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Head,
Yeah,
head up.
yeah, that's it.
What's
Don't want to
going
get
on?
my hair wet.
That's my
So
kind of swimming. Yeah.
so I had to kind of relearn how to. So I used to swim when I was at school, but obviously, so I
Mm,
haven't done that kind of swimming since I was a teenager. So I had to kind of relearn how to do all that. And if I'm honest, I think even when I swam when I was a teenager, I don't think I ever done the proper breathing, with the
mm,
head in and then breathing to the side. So that was a discipline that I had to learn.
mm.
Um, and then as for running after riding the bike, well, I could barely walk after riding a bike,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
at the beginning, yeah, I think our first bike ride, we went out, we did about 10K, which
Mm,
some people might think that sounds quite a lot, but 10K, it's not that much when you think about what you have to do.
mm,
So we did a 10K bike ride, and I got off the bike, and my legs were like jelly.
mm,
And I was thinking to myself, how on earth am I going to be able to cycle? I think the cycle part of this particular triathlon we're doing is 22.5 kilometers.
mhm,
And then we've got to run 5K afterwards. And I was thinking, how is this going to happen?
mm.
But I mean, this was like 6 months ago, but we persevered. We've done the training, and yeah, I'm confident I can do the distance. I know I can do the distance, and I can go between the disciplines now. It's just going to be a case of, is it all going to go right on the day?
Yeah,
With all the transitions and going from one to the other. So yeah, it's going to be nerve-wracking, but I'm so glad that I did it, and I've persevered with it. And yeah, we're at the stage now where we're going to be able to do this. And it's called a triathlon sprint, so it's not a full, it's not a half or a full like an Ironman,
mm,
which is another whole level. So yeah, I think once we've done this one, I know definitely my son, he's already been talking about doing
mm.
a longer distance, and I'll be up for it. I know I will. So,
It,
but it's going to be, the distance. It's going to require more work, more
yeah,
more slog, and it's going to be hard work. Yeah.
it will be, but I think, in terms of how you're approaching it, you started off with one that it still
Mhm.
takes some commitment,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's a slightly more modest start to get you in there. And I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
that's something else with when we think about persevering with aspects of self-care and doing challenges, doing things that scare us or feel like
Yeah.
a physical or a mental challenge in some way, they are all really important parts of self-care. They're brilliant for taking us to a next level.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
starting at a level that feels like it's like comfortable with a bit of a stretch, so you know that you can do those things individually with some stretch,
Yeah.
and then you're bringing them
Bring
together,
it
which
together.
is a whole nother level of
Yeah.
stretching what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you start with something that's too much of a challenge,
Yeah.
it makes it a lot more
Yeah.
sort of difficult to just get going with it. Whereas actually,
Mm.
what you're starting with is still really good, way out of anything that I could do. I did a 25K walk recently.
Yeah.
And I've done things like I've done the moonwalk a couple of times. I did a 60K over 2 days walk a good few years
Wow.
ago now. So it's not like I haven't done long walks,
Yeah.
but I hadn't done anything like this for quite a few years. So for me, it was enough of a stretch. It felt manageable,
Mhm.
but I thought, I know I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we didn't
Absolutely.
break any records.
Mhm.
In fact, it was slightly embarrassing because we were out in the last batch of people going out on the 25K walk. But earlier, there'd been some people were doing the 50K version. So they were obviously going twice as far. They'd started a lot earlier. But we were being overtaken as we were coming in from our 25K walk. We were being overtaken by people who had done the 50. The
Oh
first
well.
one, the first one we thought was quite amusing. By the time the sixth one had gone past, it was getting really quite embarrassing.
Oh.
But do you know what? We did it. We are women of a certain age. We are not sylph-like, and we got to the end, and we were just really proud of ourselves. So that for us
Absolutely.
was the challenge that we'd got there.
Yeah.
So I think yes, get this one under your belt, and I bet you are tempted in, because you've then got that confidence, haven't you, that you've got that far. So where's the next step after that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think as well for me that one of the most kind of nerve-wracking part of it is is the transitions, you know, so coming out of the pool and having to get your swimming hat off, goggles off. So this is quite funny, and it's probably something that especially women or men with long hair who do triathlons will totally understand. But I was like, I have my hair different for every different discipline. So I basically, so I put my hair in like a little loose bun and put my swimming hat on for swimming. Then when I'm cycling, I have to have it down because my helmet won't go on over a ponytail or anything. And when I'm running, I tie it up in a ponytail and have a cap on. So for me, I've been worrying about this. And so it's sort of like people are probably thinking, why are you worrying about that? Like, but
there's good reasons why you're changing your hair, aren't there? You know, it's not like you want a different look for this particular part of the event. And I thought I'd go with a sweep over to the side for, you know, this is practical measures that you've got to think about.
It is. And I think, you know, yes, obviously doing a triathlon, you're thinking about, okay, so I'm swimming, I'm cycling, I'm running, I've got to sort all that out. But actually there's the transitions that you've also got to plan and your stuff and getting my shoes and socks on and dry my feet as quick as I can. I'm just hoping the weather's going to be nice. But it's just I know it's going to be fine. I know it's going to be fine, and I'm really looking forward to it. Albeit a little bit nervous, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So
I think that's the adrenaline kicking in as well, isn't it? That kind of gets you going and keeps you going for a little while as well. So but no, it is interesting to look at all the different aspects, because when we're looking at that sense of perseverance, you're not just practicing the individual events, as you say, you've got to transition between each event as well. So is swimming, is that last, or?
No, the swimming's actually first. So
okay.
Yeah, so some people kind of question why the swimming's first, but I don't know. I guess it might be a bit dangerous if you put the swimming last, because people might start drowning from fatigue. I don't know. I don't know. But no, it's good that the swim is first, because obviously you don't want to be trying to, well, especially for people with long hair, could you imagine trying to put a swimming hat on in a transition? So at least during the transition you just got to like take it off, which is great. But I mean, to be honest, this one isn't really about, I'm going to say this, but I know I'm quite competitive, so I want to say, like, it's not about the time, it's just about doing it, this first one. But I know that when I'm doing it, I'm going to be like, right, come on, like but I'm going to try and be mindful and just keep it in my mind that I just want to get it done and do it. And then, so I don't want to put that added pressure on myself, worrying like, oh my God, you know, it's taken me like a minute to get my shoes and socks on when I should have only done it in 30 seconds or whatever. So I'm not thinking like that. Because I don't have anything to gauge it on either. Like, I've not done it before. So whatever time I do it in, it's going to be a PB. So, exactly.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that perhaps can become a bit of a barrier to perseverance is that desire for perfectionism, you know, to be perfect. If it's not perfect, you know, then we kind of lose momentum with it. And actually, sometimes it's not about perfection, it's just about getting it done. And as you say, at this stage, this is you working out how it works in kind of a formal timed situation, because no matter how much we time ourselves when we're practicing or training or rehearsing, depending on what activity we're doing, it's only when you do it for real that, and you've got the adrenaline going, and you know you are up against it, that's where you see where the flaws are, as it were. So yes, you want it to be as good as it possibly can be, but perfectionism is one of the biggest factors in stopping us doing stuff.
No, absolutely.
Because we want to get it right, and we want to get it perfect, and if it's not perfect, then I won't bother doing it, so we just leave it.
And you know what, we've been trying to do training plans like every week, and I don't think we've once stuck to our training plan because things get in the way, you know. I think last week we went up to the swimming pool to do a swimming session and it was closed. They didn't have enough staff, so the lifeguard hadn't turned up for his shift, so we couldn't swim. So I'd drunk a whole big protein shake, which, because it was very early in the morning and I didn't want to eat like food, you know, solid food. So I drank this protein shake. We get up to the swimming pool. It's like, sorry, the pool's closed. I'm like, oh no. So that day I drank this huge protein shake. I didn't actually do any exercise. So yeah, just little things little things set us back every now and again. And I remember one week my son was really, really exhausted and I kept going, come on. And he was like, oh no, I can't today. And then we sort of lost a bit of momentum.
Yeah.
But and that wasn't his fault. And I've done it as well, you know. It was, we've both kind of been through these sort of like down I'd say days, weeks, you know, where we're just exhausted and trying to pick it up again and get back into it. It's mentally challenging. It's mentally tough. But like I say, it's been good having him there doing it with me, because it gives you that accountability and somebody else. So yeah, it's it's been a journey. But I'm really glad that we've done it, you know, and I don't want to sort of stop like after the triathlon. I want to keep going. So I'm hoping that it's given me a good kind of foundation to build on. Although I might take a week where I don't do very much.
Treat yourself.
Although saying that, the following weekend I've actually got a 16k race. A running race. And then the following weekend, which is the bank holiday, the end of May, I've got a 10k race. So I thought, just kind of punishing myself in May for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they've all come up in May, but it's what it is.
But I suppose you've already got the level of fitness. It's about maintaining it then, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And that's going to be a challenge in itself as well, because I've got to be careful that I don't kind of just go all out, especially on the 16k, because I'll probably end up injuring myself, you know, with only a week after the triathlon. And then a week after that I've then got another race. So I've got to be very mindful. I'm very careful. But it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It will be, and it is good to have those things in the diary as well. And I think, you know, when we're looking at kind of keeping things going, one of the biggest problems, and I know I'm guilty of this hugely, is I like, you know, I love to have things like a big walk in the diary. I didn't realize how much I'd missed it until a friend suggested it and said, do you fancy doing it? And I thought, oh, actually, yes, I do. And it's great. And we've done a couple of training walks together, you know, done local. I often do things like I'll walk to the supermarket and get the bus back with the shopping and things like that. So I incorporate general walking, absolutely fine. But one of the problems with just hanging everything on a one-off event is, obviously, as soon as the event's done, it's like, well, that's it. I don't need to do it anymore. Don't need to do any more 10-mile walks just to do a nice bit of practice, because, you know, I've done the walk we were planning to do, and that's it. And that's it. If you read James Clear's Atomic Habits, he talks about systems rather than goals. I might have mentioned this last time, I can't remember, but very much about actually getting into that system of doing things rather than have things just being goal orientated. Because if we have it as a goal, the moment we achieve the goal, that's it. We lose momentum completely. So, you know, actually having it as I've got something else in the diary, that helps maintain your momentum as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always try to have something like in the diary, like race wise. Because like you say, if you don't, then you're just like, oh. And when you get those, you know, we all get those days where, you know, we don't even want to get out of bed or we don't want to do anything, you know. But I think, you know, sometimes that's okay. And I think that's another important part of, you know, the whole self-care thing is to listen to your body. You know, if you know, I know we're obviously, this is very much centered around exercise, this conversation what we're having, but, you know, anything, you know, even if you've got sort of like you know, a meditation practice or a yoga practice, you know, anything, and you literally, and you're like, I just don't want to do it, then don't, you know, it's not the end of the world. Listen to how you're feeling and your needs, and it'll still be there in a day or two. You'll be feeling better and you'll want to do it again. But I think, you know, um, that's something that I've really taken from this triathlon training, is, you know, when we first started it, I wanted to plan the whole kind of, I mean, we started training for this like in January, and I wanted to plan the whole 5 months out. So I printed all the sheets of, you know, each month I printed it all off on the printer. And I went to my son and I was like, right, come on, let's get all this. And he was like, we can't plan 5 months worth of exercise out in one go. And I was like, yeah, we can. Come on, let's do it. But I'm so glad I listened to him.
Yeah.
Bless him. He's only 23, but he's very wise. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that, because what we did, we just did it weekly. We just set ourselves weekly, you know, the weekly goals. And like I said before, sometimes it just didn't happen. Some weeks we almost did it. It was all, you know, and it was, yeah. But like I say, for me, like what I've learned from it is actually, do you know what? If it didn't go completely to plan, it's okay, because
Absolutely.
you know, and I'm here like a week and a half to go, and I know that I've done enough that I could do it. And obviously next week in the build up to it, we're gonna have a much more easy week. We'll probably just do a couple of sort of easy runs, maybe one ride, and a swim probably, but just really easy, really gentle. And we got sports massages as well next Thursday, so we've got that. Yeah, so that'll set us up nice as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
but I think it's interesting actually, because I get it from both sides. I get it because I'm very like, yeah, we're going to do this, and you just want to dive in, and we're going to plan it all out. But the risk is that you know, when you're looking at the plan for the middle of April and you're there at the beginning of January going, well, I'm meant to be cycling this by then, I'm meant to be swimming, and I'm meant to be running this amount, you know, so many miles or kilometers. It can feel so overwhelming that you just run away and hide. So it can be, instead of being inspiring and reassuring, it can actually act as a turn off. So I do get it, but I do get it from your point of view. You know, initially you're thinking, yes, but then we'll know where we are.
Yeah, that was my thinking. And but I do, like, looking back on it, I think if we had tried to plan the whole lot out, and when we had those sort of off weeks where we weren't really doing it, then to look ahead, like you say, at sort of like in a month's time going, oh my God, how on earth am I going to get to that
where I'm meant to
when
be,
I'm feeling like this? So it was definitely the right decision to not plan it, to, you know, and just to give ourselves those small goals, those small achievable goals, without anything, you know, without looking that far ahead. We obviously knew where we needed to get to, but I think if we'd had it kind of all written down and set in stone, it might have been a little bit so it's definitely the right
thing. It can
thing.
be, absolutely. And you know, as I said, you know, it can feel so completely overwhelming, but also it's just that, oh, we should be here when we're not here, so you feel like you're failing. Whereas actually, if you say, no, we're here, this is where we started, we've actually done all of that, we're on track, it's a success. But you look at your chart and go, yeah, but we were meant to, you know, I've only run 10 miles and I should have been running 12 bikes, so I'm obviously failing. And that really doesn't give us the feeling that we want, you know, to give us momentum.
And we do it to ourselves all the time, don't we? We're really hard on ourselves. We're our own worst enemies sometimes. We beat ourselves up over things, and but I think, you know, even when you're having those bad days, those off days or weeks, just don't give up, you know, because if you give up, then that's it, it's not going to happen. But if you keep going, no matter how hard it is, it's going to happen, you know, you'll get there eventually.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a bit of a situation where we were due to do a practice walk of 10 miles, and my friend that I was doing the walk with, she'd gone down with a cold, and she messaged me about 3 or 4 days before and said, just let you know, I've got a cold, but I'm sure I'll be fine by Friday. Then it got to sort of Thursday, and she said, actually, do you know what, I'm still struggling. do you mind if we just meet for coffee and have a chat instead? It's like, yeah, 10-mile walk, coffee and a chat. No contest, really. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And then, bless her, as it turned out, we met. I got away with this one, thankfully. But we met. We had a lovely chat. Sat there for about an hour and a half, couple of hours. A couple of rounds of coffee, good catch up sort of thing. And she got quite a few sort of events on over that weekend. So she went home and did a COVID test, and turned out she'd got COVID.
Oh no.
But it just highlighted the fact that she listened to her body, and when faced with a 10-mile walk, thought, no, I'm really not up for this. I'm really struggling with this. So she'd actually, without the, identifying what it was, she'd listened to her body, and that was a really good thing. In terms of what she needed was the rest. And amazingly, I didn't get it off her, which I'm really, really pleased about.
That is amazing, yeah.
But not that I would have held it against her, because it really wasn't her fault at all. But it just goes to show that sometimes, no matter how much we plan, other things get in the way.
That's right, yeah.
But the perseverance comes from just saying, well, I'm not going to class that as a setback. It's just one of those things, but we keep on going.
Keep going.
And it worked out absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah. And talking of keeping going and perseverance, I've been very very inspired recently by this guy that I'm following on Instagram, and I just want to mention this because this could kind of cause me to, this could have a couple of different effects on me, actually. And because I practice mindfulness, and obviously I'm aware of all this stuff, it came up and I thought, oh, this is really interesting, like how my mind is trying to process this. So there's a guy called Sean Conway, and he lives in Wales, and at the moment he's trying to get a world record. He's doing 100, well, he's attempting to do 102 full iron distance triathlons in 102 days. So one after the other every day. So I mean, this, he starts at like 5 o'clock in the morning and he doesn't finish till 7 o'clock at night, somewhere around there. Some days a bit earlier, some days a bit later.
What is a full Ironman, Fiona?
So
I've heard the term, but I don't know what the actual
so it's basically the full distance triathlon. I'm not 100% sure of the distance of the swim. I don't know if it's two something kilometers. It's somewhere between 2 and 3 kilometers swim. I'm not 100% sure on the exact distance. And then the bike ride is 180 kilometers. And it's a full marathon at the end, so 42 kilometers. So sorry, I'd like to translate into miles, but my brain works in kilometers when I'm thinking of cycling and running.
It sounds a lot to me.
It's a lot, yeah. I mean, I can't even I've never run a marathon yet, so but I was so inspired by this guy, and I was like, this is amazing. And I'm following him on Instagram and on Strava, and after a few days of watching him and following his journey, I started getting some sort of like not self-doubt, but almost like, oh, what I'm doing isn't really very much, because I'm watching this guy do, like, he's on day 24, I think, today. I'm watching this guy doing these full distance triathlons, one after the other every day. And I'm like, okay, I'm literally training for a triathlon sprint, which is obviously tiny compared to this. So, and when I started thinking that, I obviously caught myself and I was like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? It's, I'm comparing myself to, I mean, this, he's like an adventurer, he goes all over the world and does crazy things. So, and I thought to myself, wow, just stop, don't compare yourself. And it kind of comes back to what we were saying at the beginning about, I'm just watching him do this now. I mean, obviously he's going through this every day, and it's quite funny because every morning you watch him walking into the swimming pool, and some mornings he's sort of like, he looks like he can't get his balance, and he looks absolutely dead on his feet. But then by the time he's done the swim, he looks like he's perked up a bit, and he goes off on the bike and he looks a bit better. But Yeah, but I obviously haven't seen what he's been through to prepare his body for what he's
Mm,
basically putting it through over the next 3.5 months.
mm,
Um, so and I just thought to myself, right, okay, just stop comparing, because it's not
yeah.
helpful. But I did, yeah, I got that little voice coming in, and I was like, no. So,
And
but it's so easy to do.
it
Uh,
is. And I think it's probably one of the biggest barriers that stops us
mm,
moving forward as
mm,
well, because we
mm,
compare ourselves to others that, well, we're not as good as them.
yeah,
So it's so easy then to almost pull back and think, well, I won't bother.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
something to always come back to is to compare yourself to yourself.
Yeah,
So where are
absolutely.
you now compared to where you were
Yeah,
in January?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you've come on hugely.
yeah,
And actually that's the measure of how
mhm,
well you're doing.
yeah, yeah.
The only way to compare yourself to this gentleman is to go and do 102 Ironman
Yeah,
challenges
I
over
think
102 days.
I think it'd kill me if I tried to do that. I wouldn't even be able to do one at the moment. I mean, I can't even cycle. The longest bike ride that I've done, my son's done a longer bike ride than me.
Yeah.
He's done about 50K in one go, I think.
Mm,
What did I do? I think I did 37K. And it absolutely wiped me out for about
mm,
two days. I was just like, "Oh my goodness," like, but I did continue. I managed to I think I actually swam the next day, but it was a very slow, gentle swim.
mm,
Yeah, so for me, I'm just like, well, that's the longest bike ride I've done so far. So
mm.
there is no comparison. There's no point in
Yeah.
comparing, and it's just
Mm.
a silly story that we tell ourselves, and it's not true. So yeah,
But it's good that you clocked that quite early on,
yeah,
because there is always a risk that you end up either not following them when you really want to because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
making you feel bad, even though
exactly, yeah,
there is no reason to, or
no,
you just feel like what you're doing isn't enough. And actually, that really isn't the case.
yeah,
But
yeah,
as you say, we get these mind monkeys come in, don't they? And they're there going, ah, you see,
yeah,
that's what you should be doing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and these other harsh words that we use, should, must, need, got to,
mm,
have to.
mm,
Actually, it's about where you started. You
yeah,
know, with,
yeah,
with my 25K walk, I haven't done that distance for quite some time. So
yeah,
for me, it was a case of,
mm,
well, do you know what? That's a big enough challenge. I've done the moonwalk in the past, got to the end of it and said never again. And then I left it about 5 years, I think, before I did the next one, but I did do it again. But, and for some people, that would be a stretch too far. I
yeah,
don't know. I don't think I could do it now. I think, just the way that my body is now, I don't think I could do the 26 miles. I might, but I could definitely do the 13. I could do the half
the
marathon,
half
the half
marathon,
moon,
yeah,
as they call it.
yeah, yeah,
So it is just about saying, well, yeah, what would be a good challenge for me? Because where I
yeah,
am now is not where I was
yeah,
10,
that's it,
15, 20 years ago.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
it's about working out what the right challenge is for you, and then just taking it a step at a time, quite literally,
yeah,
and that perseverance to keep going. That's what gets you there.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully that's been really helpful to
Yeah.
people, and they'll take something from that. And yeah, so I
Mhm.
mean, all this perseverance, obviously it comes down to what we're here talking about, self-care.
Mm,
And we were just going to give a little sort of self-care suggestion,
mm.
just to finish the video off. And I mean, yeah, mine mine is literally is the exercise. So if it's something that you want to obviously do, or that you're doing, just listen to your body. And yeah, if you don't feel like it, and actually going out and doing it makes you feel worse, then just listen to your body, and don't do it.
Mm.
You'll feel better in a few days. And I think especially for us women as well, wrong time of the month, it can make us feel awful. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll
Or for not
pass.
sleeping, or there's all
Yeah,
sorts of
yeah.
reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll pass, and just keep going.
Mm.
So that's my kind of little, very, very exercise orientated this time round. I just, yeah,
It,
obviously,
but it's an important part of self-care is
yeah,
movement. When we talk about
yeah,
exercise, it doesn't have to be going to the gym or taking part in those more formal activities. Just going out for a walk, movement of any description. But as you say,
yeah,
listen just listen to what your body's telling you
Yeah.
and use it as a guide.
Mm-hmm.
And from my perspective, I was going to mention similar sort of things, but it's about when we want to do healthy eating, whether it's for weight loss, whether it's just improving general health. It's so easy, I think, particularly if you're on a weight loss journey, it is so easy to have a bad day or a bad week and then think, well, that's it. What's the point?
Yeah.
But the reason that it works is because you're persevering. So it doesn't matter if you have a bad day. Think about, well, actually, we'll just let that one go and then come back to it fresh. And it doesn't have to start again on a Monday. It doesn't have to start again at the beginning of a month. It doesn't have to wait until after so-and-so's birthday party 3 weeks on Saturday.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Just keep going. Keep going. It's the perseverance that will get you there, not doing it perfectly every single day.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're wanting to just improve your general well-being in terms of what you're eating, but then you're away on holiday for a week and basically live on beige food for a week, it's not the end of the world. You know, just come back and then start again, or continue, should I say. It's not about starting again. It's about picking up where you last were when you were doing things how you want to do them.
Yeah.
And it's just that perseverance to keep going that will get you there, not the, oh, well, you know, I've broken it now, you know, I've gone off the plan, whatever the plan was, so it's not worth, you know, I'll leave it till Monday, but it's actually only Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
You could have eaten bad, you know, not made wise choices in the morning, but in the afternoon improve how you're going, and then, you know, not snack in the evening, and actually you've got yourself back on track. It doesn't have to wait. The perseverance is, let's just continue and keep going.
And keep going. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. It's and I'm always saying about like, it doesn't have to wait to, it doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution, or like you say, it doesn't have to be a Monday. It just whenever, you know, if you want to start it and it's Wednesday afternoon, like it is, just do it. It's
just go for it.
it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just
And I always think Mondays are they feel like a fresh start, which is really good. But they can come with a lot of pressure if you're doing that. I'll start again on Monday, whatever it is, whether it's exercise, whether it's a hobby that you want to continue, or a piece of work you want to get done, or whatever. We put so much emphasis on, I'll get it sorted, I'll make a start on Monday, and then poor Monday arrives and you're feeling absolutely dreadful. You know, don't leave it till a Monday. Just start, as you say, a Wednesday afternoon doing something or whatever. Because when you do it like that, the pressure is not there, like it isn't first thing on a Monday morning, where you immediately, particularly, you know, when it's to do with food and exercise, it's so easy for the excuses to start coming in why you can't start right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, you know, don't hang everything on starting on a Monday. Just pick it up at some point and keep going with it.
That's right. Yeah. Brilliant.
Right. Well, we've had a good old explore, and it's lovely that you've got such good experience. You know, it's a very real-time experience for you, isn't it? About where perseverance is fitting into your plans at the moment.
Yeah, literally happening right now. And I've actually been recording some videos, just some sort of like little video diaries, and they're on my YouTube channel. So if you want to have a look, have a laugh. So there's some quite amusing ones on there. I think one week I got a bit competitive, and I was trying to keep up with Greg running. We went for a run down the river, and he got stuck at the train crossing. And I was like, I'm catching up with him, I'm going to catch up with him. And I was just behind him and I couldn't catch up with him. And then he stopped and he waited for me. So it was quite funny. But you can have a little watch of those there on my YouTube channel as well. So
okay, I'll share your YouTube channel in the description box. On mine, etc. So well, it was lovely to catch up with you again, and we'll look at something new probably in about a month's time, and look at another aspect of self-care.
Yes, will do. Looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch up with you soon.
Yep. Bye for now.
Bye.